Orange juice has been on breakfast tables for decades. Most people consider it a health food, something that belongs next to the vitamins and the whole grain toast. It has vitamin C, it comes from fruit, it feels like the responsible choice. But registered dietitians have a much more complicated relationship with this drink than the marketing around it suggests. And there are a few things happening in your body when you drink it every day that most people have never been told. We are going to go through all of it today. The genuinely good news, the parts that are more concerning than people realize, and specifically what dietitians actually recommend if you are not ready to give up your morning glass. Stick around, because the blood sugar piece in the middle of this video is the part that surprises people the most, especially those who have been drinking orange juice for years thinking it was helping them. Let us start with what is actually in it, because the nutritional profile of orange juice is more interesting than most people give it credit for. 1 cup of 100% orange juice contains 112 calories, 26 grams of carbohydrates, and just half a gram of fiber. On the micronutrient side, it delivers 124 milligrams of vitamin C, which is 138% of your entire daily recommended value in a single cup. It also provides 496 milligrams of potassium, which is 11% of the daily value, and 74 micrograms of folate, which is 19% of the daily value. That vitamin C number is significant. 1 cup gets you more than a full day's worth of one of the most important nutrients for immune function, skin health, iron absorption, and bone density. Registered dietitian Caitlin Hipley points out that the potassium also supports heart health and fluid balance, and the folate is essential for healthy cell growth. For a single ingredient drink with no added processing, that is a genuinely impressive nutrient profile. There is also a plant compound in orange juice called hesperidin, which is specific to citrus and which research has linked to additional immune-boosting effects. And if you choose a fortified version, you can also pick up calcium and vitamin D, making orange juice a convenient vehicle for bone health support on top of everything else. So far, this sounds like a solid health food. Here's where it gets more complicated. The juicing process does something important to the orange that most people do not think about. It concentrates everything. The vitamin C gets concentrated, the potassium gets concentrated, the folate gets concentrated, but the sugar gets concentrated too. And there is one thing that does not survive the juicing process at all: the fiber. When you eat a whole orange, the fiber slows down how quickly the natural sugars get absorbed into your bloodstream. That process of slowing down absorption is what keeps your blood sugar from spiking. Without the fiber, that buffer is completely gone. The sugar in orange juice hits your bloodstream significantly faster than the sugar in a whole orange would. That speed is the problem. Registered dietitian Danny Dominguez explains it directly. Orange juice is a concentrated source of natural sugars that lacks the fiber present in the whole fruit. Without fiber to slow digestion, the sugars are absorbed quickly, which leads to spikes in blood sugar and insulin. And critically, it does not trigger the same feeling of fullness that eating the whole fruit would. This matters more than most people realize. Blood sugar spikes followed by rapid drops are a driver of hunger, energy crashes, and over time metabolic stress. If you are drinking orange juice every morning on an empty stomach, you are starting your day with a significant blood sugar event that whole fruit would have prevented entirely. The calorie piece connects to this. Dietitian Shara Daya points out that sugar-rich drinks, including 100% fruit juice, contain a surprising number of calories that can contribute to unintended weight gain when consumed regularly or in large amounts. A cup of orange juice at 112 calories goes down in about 30 seconds. Eating 3 whole oranges, which is roughly what it takes to fill that cup, takes considerably longer and leaves you substantially more full. The drink and the fruit are not nutritionally equivalent, even though they come from the same source. There is also a detail about tooth enamel that most people have never considered. Orange juice is highly acidic. Drinking it regularly over time can soften and gradually erode tooth enamel, which is damage that does not reverse itself. This is not a reason to panic over an occasional glass, but it is a real consideration for people drinking it every single day for years. Now here is the part that might surprise you. Despite all of this, the research on daily orange juice consumption is not entirely negative. Recent studies have found that regular consumption of natural juices like orange juice was associated with a lower risk of dementia, a reduced risk of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and improvements in blood pressure regulation, inflammation, and lipid metabolism. Those are meaningful findings, and they suggest that the vitamins and plant compounds in orange juice are doing real work in the body, even in juice form. Orange juice also counts toward your daily fluid intake, which matters more than people tend to acknowledge. Staying hydrated affects energy, cognitive function, and nearly every system in the body. Dietitian Dia notes that it can be particularly useful during hot weather or illness when both hydration and a source of quick energy are genuinely helpful. So what does all of this add up to in practice? The dietitians consulted here largely agree on the same conclusion. Orange juice is not a daily habit they would build for most clients, but it is also not something that needs to be eliminated entirely. The issue is not the juice itself. It is the dose, the timing, and what you are pairing it with. The most practical guidance coming from all three dietitians is this. If you drink orange juice, limit it to about 4 ounces, which is half a cup, rather than the full cup most people pour. Pair it with a meal rather than drinking it alone, because the other foods in the meal help slow down the blood sugar response that the juice would otherwise cause on its own. Choose a version that contains no added sugar, and ideally one that is fortified with calcium and vitamin D. And look for options with minimal ingredients, ideally just oranges, which you will typically find in the refrigerated section rather than the shelf-stable aisle. One more thing worth mentioning before the final takeaway. Many people add orange juice to their routine, specifically for the immune support, particularly during cold and flu season. That instinct is not wrong. The vitamin C in a single cup genuinely exceeds your full daily requirement, and vitamin C plays a documented role in immune defense. But if immune support is the primary goal, eating the whole orange delivers the same vitamin C without the blood sugar spike, the extra calories, or the enamel risk. The juice is not the only way to get there, and for most people it is not the most efficient way either. The whole fruit comparison is also worth keeping in mind as a practical anchor. If you are choosing between orange juice and a whole orange, the whole orange is the better choice almost every time. You get the same vitamins, the same potassium, the same folate, plus the fiber that transforms how your body handles all of it. The juice is a convenient shortcut, but it is a shortcut that comes with real trade-offs. The bigger picture here is that orange juice is a good example of a food that has been framed as straightforwardly healthy for so long that most people never stop to look at it critically. The vitamin C is real, the potassium is real, the research showing reduced dementia risk is real, but so is the fiber loss, the blood sugar response, the calorie concentration, and the long-term enamel risk. Both things are true simultaneously, and knowing that gives you the ability to make a genuinely informed choice, rather than just going along with a breakfast habit you inherited decades ago. If this channel helps you look at everyday foods with more clarity, subscribing means you will not miss the next one. There is a lot more of this kind of